Steve Jobs founded Apple Computers when he was just 21 years old. Apple is now the largest technology company in the world, with revenues of more than $265 billion and a stock valuation of more than $1 trillion. Way back in 1995, in an interview concerning his company, Steve Jobs said this:
I think everybody in this country should learn how to program a computer, should learn a computer language, because it teaches you how to think. And so I view computer science as a liberal art. It should be something that everybody takes a year in their life. One of the courses they take is learning how to program.
If Steve is right, that learning how to program a computer teaches one to think, it is critically important that we follow his advice. The video you are watching examines the current state of teaching computational skills in American schools. But if we are going to examine teaching computational thinking, or CT as it is often called, we must attempt to understand what it is. Jeanette Wing is the director of Data Science Institute at Columbia University. She says that computational thinking is the thought process involved in formatting problems and their solutions so that the solutions are represented in a form that can be effectively carried out by an information processing agent. That's all good, but can you put it in everyday terms? In the same paper, Wing adds, informally, computational thinking describes the mental activity in formulating a problem to admit a computational solution. The solution can then be carried out by a human or machine, or more generally, by a combination of humans and machines. While seeking an even more helpful definition, Shelby and Woolard found many examples of computational thinking. Their list included abstraction, decomposition, logical thinking, algorithmic thinking, problem-solving skills, system design, and modeling and simulation. Having listed these examples, plus others, they concluded that computational thinking is an activity often product-oriented, associated with, but not limited to, problem-solving. It is a cognitive or thought process that reflects the ability to think in abstraction, the ability to think in terms of decomposition, the ability to think algorithmically, the ability to think in terms of evaluations, and the ability to think in generalizations. While I do not wish to argue that we are doing nearly enough to teach computational thinking, far from it. Rather, I wish to show that many teachers and schools at all levels of education are incorporating computational thinking aspects into their curriculums. Since teaching computational thinking to younger students is more difficult, we will concentrate our efforts being made in the elementary schools. Research by Katz and Chard has shown that preschool-age children make great educational strides when they are encouraged to research areas that interest them, when they are required to not answer questions but rather to ask questions, and when the children must collect the data themselves and format that data such that it is delivered to others. Castledine and Chalmers examined the use of robotics in elementary schools, specifically Lego robots, to teach problem-solving skills to students. They concluded that Lego robotics are effective tools for teaching problem-solving skills. Many schools are using project-based learning to teach computational thinking. One study of project-based learning concluded that students, even young students still in elementary school, both enjoyed and benefited from project-based learning curriculums. Further, this type of exposure taught students to think more creatively and deepened their comprehension. A growing number of schools are teaching elementary school children how to code using age-appropriate coding languages. Researchers have concluded that children entering school have already had exposure to computers at home. Therefore, students possess elementary knowledge of computers and are already familiar with basic concepts. This fact allows for a different method of teaching these children, one that was not applicable to past generations. Proper usage of computers, as an addition to the standard teaching methods, can help enhance the learning experience for children by presenting them certain problems in a way that is appropriate for their age. Other researchers have concluded that a great amount of learning can occur when a child does not realize she is learning, but rather thinks she is playing. Children are accustomed to playing on computers, therefore they are primed and ready to do other fun things on the computer, even if that is learning, even learning difficult subjects, like coding. Scratch is a visual-based coding language developed by MIT Media Labs, and it is geared towards elementary-age children. Coding is done through dragging and dropping blocks of coding actions and properties. Researchers have used it to teach video game programming to elementary school students using Scratch. In the program, students designed, developed, and programmed their own individual visual novel, sport, or platform game. Other schools use software named Alice, developed by the University of Virginia. This software allows students to drag and drop objects to make animations and 3D models. One study looked at elementary school students who were given the task of designing an educational game for a younger audience. For example, grade 5 students designing games for grade 3 students. The findings indicated increased student performance and showed that students were more focused on class content because the game design aspect of the task. As promising as all these innovations are, the road ahead will not be straight. Many teachers are somewhat uncomfortable with technology. Additionally, most have not been taught computational thinking themselves and are ill-prepared to teach it to their students. Research by Nettleson et al. Showed that concerning teaching STEM, many elementary teachers have limited background knowledge, confidence, and efficacy for teaching STEM, and this may hamper teaching their students STEM-related subjects. On the other hand, research has shown that novice teachers have significantly more positive attitude than veteran teachers to integrated STEM education in elementary schools. So, as dire as the situation is, it is improving. We are headed in the right direction. We just have a long, long way to go.